Damn, Bruce, that's a big car. The greatest movie spoof series of all time adds a few celebrity fans. Stupid Daikini, we dropped the 4K while you were taking a pee-pee. That's a deep cut. You might get it, you might not. King T'Challa ain't got nothing on me. All this and more on Cutting Edge Hero Live. Welcome to Cutting Edge Hero! I am the Nerd King, Danny Stewart, your host, as always, for this week and every week. And I am happy to be here with each and every one of you, joined in the studio by our human relations specialist and fact checker extraordinaire, Landon Felter. Landon, how you feeling today?
What'd you just call me?
Didn't I just say Landon Felter?
Yeah, but you said...
I gave you Ben's title. I am joined today by showrunner extraordinaire who doesn't do any fact checking, Landon Felter. Landon, how you doing today?
Hi, I'm good. I don't do any fact checking, and I'm also not liked by human relations.
Yeah, that's true.
Human resources.
Hold on. I'm making sure everything. Yes. Okay. For some reason, Facebook was not loading for me, which makes me a sad Nerd King, but happily, it seems to have just been a service issue. Marissa in the chat, what is up? Glad you are here. Good to see you. Space Boy, thank you for joining us. Thank you, everyone else. Our human relations specialist and fact checker extraordinaire, Ben Stewart, should be in the chat soonish. Ben, let us know when you're in here. Say hi to the nice folks. Landon, as we kick the show off the same every week, what is the nerdiest thing you have done this week?
Well, the nerdiest thing I've done is I actually went to a game night this past Monday. I can't remember if it was Monday or Sunday, but I actually did a game night. Yeah, I haven't been able to do very many of those lately.
Okay, well, what were you guys playing?
It was a game. It was called I forget what it was called. It was like something Legacy of the God Killer. It was a card game where you defeated monsters, got resources, things along those lines.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I have had my weekly game night on hold for the last several weeks while we were doing Cape Con and getting all of that ready. But we are actually kicking it back off this Thursday. The nerdiest thing I have done this week is we started playing Dragon Age Veilguard. Yes. So I actually haven't started a game yet, but I even more nerdy than playing it yourself. I sat and watched Damien create his character for 3+ hours and then begin the game. So I'm very excited to also do my 3+ hour character creation, which I'll be getting to, when I find myself with a little bit of free time.
Yeah, you're definitely one of those people that if you're not playing the game, you're definitely making just a whole bunch of characters and famous people in the character creator.
Yeah, and that's actually a conversation that we had. I was talking about whenever the SmackDown games first started coming out for, I think, the PS2, maybe. What's up? What is up, Christina? Glad you are here. It's just showing your first name. Yeah, so good to see you. Glad you are in the chat. Space Boy, I binged the first 3 episodes of the new season of Arcane. That's something I haven't dove into yet. Everything I know about League of Legends is from Arcane, so I'm excited to get a second season in for sure. But in the meantime, what was I saying? Oh yes, no, the SmackDown games. I used to make Spider-Man and wrestlers that didn't exist in the game and other superheroes like Superman. Things that the character creator wasn't meant to do. The same thing I did with the Mii's on the Wii, create the whole Scooby-Doo cast and creating, everybody. Rissa, I just realized that was you in the chat. And now I get it. And I'm super glad you're here. Thank you so much. Arcane is so good. Yes, Arcane is really good. It makes me want to play League of Legends. And somebody said if you're interested in League of Legends because of Arcane, save yourself the trouble and don't start League of Legends. Just play, just watch Arcane. Does that seem about right, Landon?
That seems about right.
You're my resident video game expert. So in the meantime, do you want to do some news?
Oh, always.
How about you fire those bullet points at me? Welcome to Bullet Points. This week we are talking about comics first. So Landon, you have an image saved for me of this, but in the new DC Comics run, the all-in superhero run, they're doing the Absolute Batman, which everybody's been talking about because Batman is like this giant yoked engineer whose bat symbol is an axe head, which is the craziest thing. But just to be fully over the top, they introduced the new Batmobile. Landon, you want to drop that for me? So this is what the Batmobile is going to look like in Absolute Batman. What do you think of that, Landy?
Man, it's fitting.
Yeah.
With how wide Batman is in Absolute
he is a
Batman,
broad Batman.
It fits. It's fitting.
Yeah, it actually, people are like saying it's like, oh, it blows the tumbler out of the water, and it's like this big like tank looking Batmobile, and we've never seen anything else like that. And I beg to differ. Anyone who watched the Dark Knight or read the Dark Knight Returns will remember that Batman's movie in that was a giant, or in the Batman's Batmobile in that series was also a giant, crazy looking tank. Now, I did have another image I wanted to put up. You should see it. Yes, there it is. So this at the top there, that is the Batmobile from the Dark Knight Returns, which was a giant military treaded house on wheels tank. And I would say if they're pulling anything for Absolute Batman, it's that. Jody Meredith, thank you for joining us. What did he say? I got to buy an earth mover. Yeah, dude, you're going to have to go get like the biggest Caterpillar dump truck and just strap a bunch of bat symbols on it. And I don't know how you're going to fit it in your bat cave, but you'll have to figure it out, brother. Let's see. Christina says she's adding Arcane to her list. Yeah, it's weirdly we add to that list almost every time I talk to you. So that has to be like one of the longest lists on the planet. And Rissa says, watch Arcane. You won't regret it. I agree. The animated series is incredible. The animation's done really well. I love the style. And I love the way they do it. And it's definitely not kid friendly, much like Cutting Edge Hero. But it is a fun, exciting, adventurous series to watch. And the fact that the two main characters are female leads, I don't know that they necessarily pass the Bechdel test every episode, but they're doing the best they can, and I appreciate it. Moving on, Marvel Rivals, is it Overwatch? It's Overwatch, right? Yeah. The Overwatch analog that Marvel is putting out featuring their Marvel superheroes is getting a comic book cover release. So they are releasing covers for 6 of the heroes from the game, 6 of the playable heroes, and then 1 non-playable hero. And we have them all here. So Landon, if you will just kindly put those up one at a time. So starting with Magic, she will be on the cover of the new Magic series, Magic #1. Venom is going to be on the cover of the all-new Venom series whenever that comes out. We will also be getting the Spider-Man, Peter Parker, on the cover of Amazing Spider-Man. The Storm is going to be on the cover of X-Men, one of the X-Men comics. And then we will finally be getting Daughter of Galactus, and who is not a playable character in the game. I believe she's going to be a villain or a protagonist. And then also Jeff the Shark, who is a playable character, who we are getting a cute little cover of the two of them together. So they're doing a lot of tie-ins between the game and the comic universe. It's going to be free to play. It is dropping on November 22nd. So if you want to play it, all you need is like PlayStation Premium, PlayStation Plus, or Xbox Live, or an online pass, and you'll be able to play the game. that being said, I don't know if it's going to do well or not, but I will be playing it for the first couple of weeks after it comes out just to check it out. In TV news, the annual MST3K Thanksgiving Marathon will be going on again this year. We do have an image for that, but it's going to feature notable celebrities this time around. So the MST3K has been going since I was a child. And so they're doing a potluck of the stars with the crew. If you're not familiar with it, the plot of it is that they they put crappy old movies on and then they riff them from beginning to end as a couple of different there's two robots and then usually a host, and the host has changed hands a couple of times. But the series going up on YouTube for Thanksgiving this year is going to feature the likes of Joel Hodgson, the one of the main hosts, Felicia Day, Emily March, Mary Jo Pehl, and then also joining for specific episodes is going to be David Dasmalkian, Mike Flanagan, Brian Fuller, Mark Hamill, Matthew Lillard, and Kumail Nanjiani, all of who just love MST3K and want to be a part of this Thanksgiving celebration. I, for one, am pumped to get to see this. I hope that the rest of you get a chance to tune in. MST3K is one of the foundational building blocks of who I am today, and certainly built a big part of my sense of humor. So if you've never seen it, check it out. If you've ever seen Riff Tracks, it's the same guys. It's the original MST3K cast that created Riff Tracks. And then I do believe there's a third spinoff out of the original group who also just takes movies and riffs on them. And God, it's one of my favorite pastimes. My friends and I get together and do it. My fellow MST3K fans. But they're the original and the best. So if you get a chance to check it out, I highly recommend you check it out. Moving along, Zolo Maradueno says he will still be playing Blue Beetle. I don't have an image to go with this, Landon. Will still be playing Blue Beetle in James Gunn's DCU, despite rumors and fan casting that he may be the new Nova for the MCU. Now, I would love to see Richard Rider, the original Nova, on screen. We also may get Sam, the second Nova, on screen instead. If you're not familiar with Nova, they are the Green Lantern Corps of the Marvel Universe. They're space cops. They showed up in Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. They're John C. Reilly plays one in Guardians of the Galaxy. But there's a force called the Nova Force that powers all of the space police known as the Novas, and they end up getting wiped out, which did happen in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And then after they are wiped out, all of the power of the Nova Force gets put into one Nova Force helmet and sent to Earth, where Richard Rider discovers it and becomes the wielder of the Nova Force, which gives him flight, energy manipulation, very similar to Green Lantern's powers, but close enough without getting sued. And that was Marvel's intent when they invented this thing. And I really, now that we're going to get a serious Green Lantern series from DCU, I hope we're also going to get a serious Nova series out of the MCU. So Zolo Moduena, I think he's a great choice. He's also fan cast or rumored to have already been cast as Luffy's brother Ace in the live action One Piece series for Netflix. So he's got a busy schedule right now. I hope that he, as a rising star, continues to rise, and I'm kind of excited to see that. Next, Willow, the Disney movie starring Val Kilmer as Mad Mardigan, as well as I can never remember his name. Anyway, the guy that plays Willow is getting a 4K release. They are going to be dropping it on digital and a steelbook release on the same day, December 10th. You will be able to get your hands on that. We do have an image of the steelbook. Yeah, I should. Yeah, there we go. So that is what the steelbook release is going to look like. If you haven't seen Willow, or if you just haven't seen it in a while and you want to see it in a much better format, pick up this steelbook release, or just probably rent it from Amazon or any of the other digital streaming services. And last, but certainly, most certainly not least, Warwick Davis. Thank you, Eric Johnson, for the win, man. Thank you for coming in. Also, Eric, glad to see you in the chat. Glad you're here. Thanks for being a part of the show. Denzel Washington, while promoting Gladiator 2 let slip that he's getting close to retirement and he's only got a couple more movies that he's planning to work on. And one of those films is Black Panther 3 with Marvel. Who he's going to be playing is still up in the air. There's been no rumors or indications as to who he would be playing in the cast. Most likely, with a name like Denzel Washington being dropped in for one movie in an MCU series, he's probably going to be playing one of the big bads or the villain of the series. That being said, he could also be like another former Black Panther or former king of Wakanda. He could be a lot of different characters. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with him and who he's going to end up being. I hope that he's not a one-off, but with him planning to go into retirement shortly after doing the movie, it most likely all signs point to this being just a one-stop villain, and then he's gone. But my God, Marvel has been able to net some of the biggest names in Hollywood just to show up, play a part, and never come back, like Cate Blanchett and Patrick Stewart showing back up as Professor X, and getting John Krasinski to come in just to play Reed Richards for one movie. Like, it's just nuts what they've been able to do. But Denzel Washington seems like a whole nother level of actor that they're pulling for these movies. Probably right up there with Anthony Hopkins being Rick Elizondo. Thank you for joining the chat. Glad you are here. But with Anthony Hopkins showing up to play Odin, and being kind of like big for the first movie and then just having like short plot points for the second and third, and let's see, what have we got? All four of the Thor movies. Anyway, just seems like Denzel Washington is a much bigger pull. What do you think, Landon?
Well, Disney's got like a cachet to get all these different like actors and everything.
Oh, they got money.
Well, they both got money and probably contractual obligations just wrapped into whatever they've gotten them to sign up for.
Christian Bale. That's true. Yeah, they pulled Christian Bale as well. So yes, the big names. But you were saying,
yeah, but like, I feel as though they got to be doing something big with Denzel Washington,
right?
Even if it's a one-off, that gives them a lot of freedom to do anything with the character if he's never going to come back. So
yeah, you think that, but then like Matt Damon has been in multiple Thor movies, and he's just like there as a bit player for like fun little cameo, and he hasn't had a big role. And then he also showed up in Deadpool 2. Like, this is the Matt Damon, and he just and Alan Tudyk. Matt Damon and Alan Tudyk both showed up in Deadpool 2 at the beginning of the movie. So like just as weird little cameos. Which again, that's not Disney, but I just think it's funny that these celebrities are like, yeah, I want to do a big superhero movie, but like, just let me play a little character in the background.
I'm good to pop in for a bit of cultural clout and popping back out.
It's not unlike Glenn Close showing up as one of the male pirates in Hook, and it's like a blink and you'll miss it because she's only in the movie for like 15 seconds, but it's pretty incredible once you see it.
Well, who was it that was a stormtrooper in The Force Awakens?
Daniel Craig.
I'm
Yes.
surprised they don't just do stuff like that more, just to get people talking about different parts. Like, oh yeah, did you know that this stormtrooper with his face completely covered? Yeah, that was Christian Bale. Like, nobody knows that except for the people behind the scenes. But yeah, that one was Christian Bale apparently.
Yeah, one of the early episodes of Mandalorian, Jake Johnson, and I can't remember who the second one are, but they both voice these two stormtroopers, and Jake Johnson voices the stormtrooper that punches Grogu. And it's like, that's something that you don't see it, and he might have gotten a credit for it, but it's like you're not looking to see who the stormtrooper number 3 is in Mandalorian, and it was some of the guys from New Girl. But anyway, Landon, what do you have in video game news?
All right. So, we're starting off with a feel-good story. Due to low sales, scalpers are having to sell PS5s at a loss.
Couldn't have happened to a better group.
It really couldn't have. But yeah, with Sony keeping up production and everything on the PS5, they're staying in or PS5 Pros. They're staying in stores more. Maybe the sales just aren't as strong for a Pro version of the console, but all the scalpers who are hoping to get easy money on all those, not the case.
Yeah, suck it, scalpers. That's what you get for tricking me out of a bunch of money for fake NSYNC tickets. I just made that up. There's no story there. What else you got?
Union workers at Bethesda are starting to go on strike. Their concerns over outsourcing have not been met by the company, according to them. So they are starting to walk out.
I mean, they're in the find out section of this strike, I guess.
Yeah. Bethesda and ZeniMax are too.
Man, it's crazy. It's not like Bethesda has ever put out any good games. They certainly can't afford to pay people appropriately.
No, they're a struggling indie company, don't you know?
Yeah, never heard of them really till you brought it up just now. Our audio only listeners are going to be like, what the fuck are they talking about? Rick Elizondo says Ghostface as a playable character on Mortal Kombat 1. That's pretty tight.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but thanks for adding that, Rick.
I hope that they have a thick Ghostface skin to go on that, because that's my favorite version of Ghostface.
Thick Ghostface.
Thick Ghostface, yeah.
The Mass Effect TV series is starting to get worked on at Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I vaguely know Mass Effect. That's like zombies in space, right? Is that the
No?
Okay.
You're thinking of Dead Space.
That I am thinking of Dead Space. Thank you. That's on me.
Yeah. Mass Effect, it's a RPG by BioWare.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a pretty popular series.
Yeah, it's like 4 games, right?
It has
five,
4
5
games.
4 games, yeah.
People say 2's the best, and it kind of goes downhill from there. And don't entirely agree, don't entirely disagree. Just putting that out there.
I take it back, and I might get flamed in the comments for this, but I downloaded all of the Mass Effect games onto my PS5 and started, I think, the first one just to get into it, and I was like, this is way too much fucking talking, and I turned it back off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Christina said, if you like Dragon Age, you'll like Mass Effect. I mean, maybe when I have time. And then Rick said Maeve will be excited for this news. Maeve is Christina, for those of you who don't know. And I have mixed feelings. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, those feelings might get just a little more mixed. The head writer was the writer for Fast and Furious 9. So depending upon how you feel about that. What?
Of this new series that's coming?
Yeah.
Oh no. That is all bad news.
Yeah, so hate to spoil anything if you're not a fan of that movie. I haven't seen it. Don't care to see it.
Yeah, I think the only thing that could be worse than that is finding out that who's the guy that did all the Transformers movies?
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay was in charge of it. That I think that's the only way that news could be worse.
And finally, we have a bit of news on the Nintendo lawsuit against Pocket Pair, the developers of Palworld.
Yeah, Palworld.
So they have a couple of patent registrations that they're saying that Palworld is infringing on. Notably, the throwing of a device to capture or release another combat character.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's most interesting about it is that the 3 main patents that they're claiming that Pocket Pair is infringing on, they registered and applied for between February and August of 2024, after Palworld had already been released.
They were like, well, nobody owns it, so we better own it.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I might sue Nintendo because I have been throwing bear traps at random animals for years in order to keep them to myself.
Yeah, I know it's your pastime.
Right, I know, that's what I'm saying. I've got so many bear trapped animals that I've collected, and then I use them as a weapon to throw at other animals. So Nintendo, we might have to have a chat.
Yeah. The worst part is all the ones that you just leave out there because you just don't like their stats. It was a little weird coming into a squirrel just to desiccated with a bear trap around it in your front yard. But
wait till you see that I not only captured one Mew, but I captured another Mew too. I apologize, everyone.
This is the end of the list now.
Rick says lights green, trap is clean. That's Ghostbusters. That's a great quote.
Yeah. People were comparing this to some of the Ghostbuster games. Like, do those count as infringing on the copyright too?
Yeah, that's valid. Gonna fuck around and find out. Eric Johnson says he remembers that. I hit him in the face one time with a bear trap. I want to keep you forever, Eric, and it's unfair that you keep going home. Tell Jennifer you're here forever now. I got over it, improved my looks. Wow.
Knowing you, there's like a 5% chance that that's a real story.
Eric is a handsome man. I don't know what he's talking about. Anyway, is that all the news you had for me?
Yeah, that's all the news I had.
I'm ready to try out our new catchphrase. I hope this news didn't just graze you. This has been the bullet point. Are you feeling it? Is it getting better, you think?
I'm feeling it. No, I'm feeling that one.
You're feeling that one? All right, back to the show. We have a noticeable lack of Billy Rhodes in the chat tonight, and I'm very upset because this Hear Me Out list that we're going to be doing here in just a minute on Hit List is right up his alley, and I'm just so sad he's not going to be here. I was telling Landon, I was like, I can't believe Billy hasn't sent us an email list of his Hear Me Outs with like 6 paragraphs underneath each one.
Did we properly say that we were doing your 5 Hear Me Outs for this week's hit list at the top of the episode?
I don't know that I did. You put it in the description, did you not?
Yes, I did. But some people don't read the descriptions.
Oh, so for those of you who did not read the description and also didn't come here specifically because I said we were doing a top 5 Hear Me Out on Hit List today, we are doing our 5 favorite Hear Me Outs. And I, for one, I'm gonna get weird with it. So this is exciting for me. But anyway, so that is everything we have on news. Landon, we had a couple of really good trailers drop this week.
So I've heard.
Mostly from Marvel. Marvel released the trailer for What If Season 3. It's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to this season the most, I think, out of all the ones that I've seen. I know that we are getting a Bucky Red Guardian team-up adventure at some point in this series. We're seeing Kahori, the Native American hero established in season 2, come back. Also, they're taking a page out of the Marvel Mangaverse, and I find that hilarious that this is like the 5th or 6th episode where I've brought up the Marvel Mangaverse because they just keep pulling from it. But we are getting a Voltron style, Power Ranger style Avengers story where they each have a different robot that connects and creates an Avenger, including and it looks like it's the Thunderbolts team that's doing it. So it's like Red Guardian and Winter Soldier, and then the Sam Wilson Captain America coming together to form a giant Avengers robot, which is right out of the Marvel Mangaverse comics. And they just keep pulling from that. And it's like, when Marvel Mangaverse came and went, I was like, well, we're never going to hear about this again. And it just keeps coming back up.
Yeah. Who would have guessed that anime getting popular would cause Marvel to pull on its anime that it did in the past? I did English.
Way to be. I know your brain's fried from all of the college work you're currently doing, so I'll give you a pass on that, bud. But yeah, I just, how long is it going to be before we see Ninja Spider-Man on screen? That's my real question.
You're really harping for Ninja Spider-Man.
He's so cool. But anyway, but what we did get in this trailer that was a real shock to everyone is that Storm of X-Men fame is going to be the first canonical. Well, I guess I can't say that because Wolverine showed up in Deadpool and Wolverine. But anyway, the first mutant from the X-Men series hitting the MCU in her like comic accurate costume for What If, which I think is nuts. Like they're just gonna drop her in. They're doing the whole angle from Secret Wars, which is what we're leading towards, where Storm wields Mjolnir, Thor's hammer, and takes on his powers and abilities, and it looks awesome. And I'm not sure because I haven't sourced this yet, Landon. So forgive me if I'm wrong. Feel free to fact check me in the comments, guys. It seemed like the voice of Storm from X-Men '97 is reprising her role as Storm for What If Season 3.
That'd be dope.
What I think would be really dope is if we are getting an X-Men 97 What If Season 3 crossover. I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's it. That ain't Catman. I don't think that's what we're getting. But God, I hope it is. That would be so awesome. I would be so excited. I might pee myself a little.
I do find it interesting that the first thing they're doing that connects more into the main Marvel universe is the What If series.
Yeah.
Because like X-Men 97 is more so its own thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it takes place decades before the MCU.
So I just find it interesting that they're doing it through What If.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah. Maeve said Storm and Mjolnir. Yes, that is a great combination. Second only to the Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman picking up Mjolnir and wielding Thor's power from the Marvel versus DC crossover in the late 90s, which was also awesome. There's so many good things that came out of that Marvel and DC crossover, even though the series was absolute shit. So, don't hunt it down. Just listen to me talk about it. That's where you'll get the best like nostalgia vibes from it. But it did have some really good ideas. Number one on that list being Dark Claw, the fusion of Wolverine and Batman from the Amalgam universe. But anyway, and then moving along from there, we got a new trailer for Thunderbolts, which is coming pretty soon. I think Captain America Brave New World is coming first. So we got a full view in the Captain America Brave New World trailer of the Red Hulk. We got a full Harrison Ford face Red Hulk joining the MCU, which I think it's something that like it was hinted at early in the MCU that we might get to see the Red Hulk, and then we did see in an entirely other production in Free Guy, Dude, the evil version of Guy, had a Red Hulk arm at one point in the movie, and then Ryan Reynolds' character then uses the Green Hulk arm against him. So that was the first on-screen appearance of Red Hulk. But we're actually getting him in the series, played by Harrison Ford, as the big Thaddeus Ross Red Hulk character with his heat abilities and everything. And honestly, I'm here for it. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, it's something that people have been wanting for a long time. So
it also opens up that world where we have like 8 different Hulks that exist in the Marvel universe. We've got Hulk, we've got the Amadeus Cho, world's smartest Hulk. We have the Red Hulk, and then at some point we should probably see Gray Hulk. The original version of the Hulk, who in the main Marvel comics now goes by Joe Fixit. He's a wise guy, works for a casino owner. He's an enforcer. He breaks bones, is what he does. But anyway, there's just a litany of Hulks that have been introduced in the Marvel canon. You've got Kull, the Hulk's Hulk, and there's the World War Hulk, the Scar version of Hulk. There's the Asgardian Hulk. There's, the original Hulk was a big white furry monster, but it's just opening the door for us to get all those characters on the big screen, which I think is really cool. And it's part of that like thing that needs to happen with the MCU now, that we've established the main Marvel characters on screen, characters that people would have never made movies about, like Iron Man and Captain America and Hawkeye and Black Widow. Now that those guys have been and gone from the broader MCU, it's time to crack that world open wider and give us 9 different versions of the Hulk, give us 6 different Wolverines on screen, give us X-23, give us, we're getting Ironheart, which is another version of Iron Man. We've already got War Machine and the Tony Stark Iron Man in there, but there's still a bunch of other Iron Men that can be introduced as well. And, Sony introduced the 2099 universe by introducing Spider-Man 2099, but there is just so many options for Spider-Man that we still haven't seen, even with Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse giving us like thousands of them. So they got options, but I think this is a step in the right direction. Anyway, but yes, the trailer for Brave New World looks awesome. We got a better look at the new Sam Wilson Falcon Cap costume. I really hope, I know that they're trying to be like any man can be Captain America as long as he believes in himself and has a super cool tech suit and also the shield. But like, I think it's really hard to have a live action on screen Cap who doesn't have a super soldier serum. And that seems to be the one thing they're not going to give to Sam as a super soldier serum. And I hope that by the end of this movie, he ends up either A, with the super soldier serum, or he passes the shield to somebody that has it, i.e., Patriot, who is the son of the original Captain America, Isaiah Bradley, who also appears in this film. He gets kind of Winter Soldier. He attacks the president, and that's what starts the whole story off. And it leads to the leader being the main villain, and he's controlling a bunch of people inside the government, and he's trying to get Thunderbolt Ross dead, and he's to get revenge for the first Hulk film, which is Marvel canon, but changed who's playing the Hulk. I'm all over the place. I apologize, but that's that's what we're getting. I'm excited for it. But moving along from there, we've got the Thunderbolts trailer.
Yes.
So we got a couple of new looks at some of the characters in the Thunderbolts trailer. I think the one that I like the most is the new Taskmaster costume. In the Black Widow movie, Taskmaster was kind of a hard sell, in that they changed the character so much from his origins, in that he's a he in the comics and he's a she in the MCU. That's not a big problem, but it did seem like a big fundamental twist to the character. But on top of that, he didn't look like, or she didn't look like the Taskmaster in that movie, not in the way that we know him. The Taskmaster wears a skull face, a skull mask, and they just kind of did like a skull looking ish mask. It was, I don't know, man. It was so far off from Taskmaster, who's one of my favorite Marvel characters, to then get like just this really bastardized version that didn't really have his abilities and wasn't really the force that Taskmaster tends to be. So they're trying to fix that in Thunderbolts. It is a full skull mask that Taskmaster will be wearing. It looks like she has control of her own mind and is able to control and use her Taskmaster abilities. And I think that we may get a fun version of Taskmaster finally, which I hope is the case, because he's right up there with Deadpool for like laughs and good times whenever he's on screen. And that just hasn't been the case for the MCU to date. But we also got a really good look at, I wouldn't say a good look because we haven't seen him in costume. We certainly haven't seen him using his powers, but Sentry. So he's only introduced as Bob. He's only introduced as Bob in the trailer, but that is the Sentry. He is basically one of Marvel's Superman analogs. He's got the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns inside of his body, and apparently the whole reason the Thunderbolts come together and become a team is to try and stop the Sentry from destroying the world. Whenever his Void character, because the brief history on the Sentry, he is a super powerful human being who is incredibly good and believes in good things. But in order to balance all of that good, his mind split and created a dark alter ego called the Void, who has all of the same strengths and abilities as the Sentry. But his whole goal in existence is to destroy everything good that the Sentry ever does. And in answer to that, in the comics, they wiped the Sentry's memory and made him think he was a aging middle-aged man with no abilities, and he worked as a janitor, and then he got his memories back and became the Sentry again in the comics, and then the Void came back and he became a whole problem, and he killed Ares at one point in the comics, which he literally ripped the head off of a god because he's that powerful, but then Thor beat his ass. So it's all over the place with the power levels in the Marvel universe. But so we're getting him on screen. He's basically a Superman analog, which is a much higher power level than what we've seen in the MCU to date. And he's going to be a problem for a bunch of just peak human strength and ability characters like Bucky, Red Guardian, US Agent, and then some regular human beings, not regular, they're trained in the Russian Red Room, but like like Black Widow, Yelena Belova, and then a couple of people with actual superpowers, which is Ghost and Taskmaster, and they're all going to have to fight a Superman level threat. So I'm really excited. It's Thunderbolts is basically the Marvel version of the Suicide Squad. It looks like they're going to do a good job of telling a story of a clandestine group forced together to take down a major threat. The tension is there. The silliness is there. So I'm excited about it, and I can't wait to watch it. And last but not least on the reviews and news side of things, Penguin, and I know Rick is excited about this. Penguin had its final episode drop this last Sunday. If this does not win every award that a television series can win at award season, it is the biggest robbery I have ever seen. This show is so fucking good. Cannot say it enough. I know you haven't seen it yet, Landon, but my God, is this show good. It subverts your expectations from the beginning. I talked to Rick about this the other day. I find myself continuously rooting for Oswald Cobb, the Penguin, and hoping he has good things happen to him. And the show continuously reminds you that this is an awful human being who doesn't care about anyone and will hurt everyone in his life to get what he wants. And it keeps selling you on the idea that you want things to work out for him. And it is terrifying. Like, how much that messes with my mind is terrifying. I have dealt with some crazy narcissists in my life who have caught me off guard with how much I was in their camp, and then they royally fucked me over. And this is that on screen. So I've got like a little bit of PTSD just watching it, but it's like mind-blowing how good of a job they do with this. Like all the way up to near the end of the episode, I realized Penguin's a piece of shit. I realized that I don't want good things for him. I watched the episode. We get to the end of it, and I'm like, man, I hope things work out for Penguin. He just had such a good thing happen to him. And then he does something truly awful, and I'm like, why? Why does this keep happening? Why do I keep rooting for this guy? He's the worst. So I will say they are doing a great job. The director on this is phenomenal. I hope she moves on to make other really great and compelling television. And I don't want to do too many spoilers because it's so good that if you've got a second, go out and watch it. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but my God, go watch Penguin. If you are watching anything on television at all for any reason, stop watching it. You're wasting your time. Go watch Penguin. I could not mean this more. I know you're not currently watching anything, Landon. I know you're not watching anything. Drop out of college and watch this series and then pick your books back up. You'll be fine. It's only 8 episodes.
It's only 8 episodes, huh?
It's only 8 episodes, hour apiece. Some of them are less than an hour. Some of them are a little longer than an hour, but it averages out to about an hour per episode.
All right. Well, I'm looking at the finish line of college now. I think I'm willing to just drop out of the entire race just to watch Penguin.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Those are the smart moves people make. But yeah, Rick is in the chat. He and I have just been gushing about this show for weeks. Every episode as it drops, we talk about it. We've just been freaking out, and it's like, it deserves it. Like, it deserves it so much. The last time I watched something this compelling and this good and this mind-blowing was Daredevil season 2, which I think is the finest thing to have ever been put on celluloid in the history of all filmmaking. And I think Penguin might top that. So, I mean, I get there's differing opinions. You may not agree with me. You might think something could be better or worse. Maybe you like Wuthering Heights or whatever, and that's fine, but you're wrong. This is the greatest thing ever made. So please go watch it and then come back and tell me how I'm wrong so that I can lower my opinion of you. But anyway, yes, Christina is adding that to her list as well. Yes, please do so. Please watch it. Cannot say enough nice things about it. So good. And Colin Farrell, my God, he is a tour de force. I forget that is an insanely attractive man underneath all that makeup every time I watch it. I'm like, yeah, that's him. That's what that guy looks like. And then I see, like, I watch the making ofs afterwards and I'm like, fuck, he's good looking. That is nuts that they can do that. Anyway, that has been my review of Penguin. It's a very long list. Yes, Christina has a very long list. Speaking of incredibly sexy men, this week on the hit list, we are discussing our 5 favorite Hear Me Outs. Welcome to the hit list. It is time to get sexy up in here. We are talking about our 5 favorite Hear Me Outs, or your top 5 Hear Me Outs. Spaceboy said, yo, slay, which I don't understand, but I'm assuming it's to the positive. But yes, we will be breaking down our list starting from 5, 4, 3, 2, number 1. Each and every one of you have your lists together. Start dropping them in the chat. That is the best way to do this, and we will discuss your Hear Me Outs as they come up, as well as our own. Landon, you had some concerns. Were you going to do a list? Were you not going to do a list? Did you do one?
I did not do one for this week.
Landon does not have a hear me out list. That being said, I need you guys to drop your hear me outs in the chat first. Deontay is here in time. So as we get the number 5s in, we will go over them. Guys, go ahead and start dropping your number 5 hear me outs into the chat. And we will go from here. Spaceboy says they will only be doing one hear me out. That is all they need. Anyone else, your number 5s, please put them in the chat now.
Most of their number 1s are all going to be this, or most of Space Boys is going to be the same.
Are we going to do it 5 times though?
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. Fantastic. So to kick this off, we will do something a little different. I'll start the lists and you guys can drop yours in the chat as we go.
Oh, we got one.
We got one. Never mind. Deontay saved us. Go ahead with Deontay's number 5, Landon.
Deontay's number 5 is Dr. Correa from One Piece.
Yes, so the aged doctor who takes Tony Chopper under her wing and teaches him how to be a doctor, Dr. Correa. I feel like that's a pretty easy hear me out, honestly. She's being played by Peggy Segal in the live action. She's just an aged rock star. And weirdly, at that period in One Piece, they only drew women's breasts in one size, and they were massive. And so Dr. Correa really fills out that T-shirt. And I don't think it's that hard of a sell for anyone with a GILF fascination. I think she ticks a lot of boxes. So for me, easy sell. Absolutely. You don't even need to hear you out. All you had to do is say Dr. Correa, and I'd say, are we hooking up with her? But yes, number 5 for Deontay, Dr. Correa.
Christina Oates, number 5. These probably aren't in any particular order, but I'll start with Groot. LOL.
Groot seems like an easy one. I mean, if you're looking for wood, that's where to find it. Also, he seems like he's a nurturer. He seems like he's gonna be, and this comes up a lot in conversation, but he seems like he's gonna be really into aftercare. You know, I think Groot's really gonna I am Groot you a lot afterwards. I think he's gonna I am Groot you a lot during it, but certainly the inflection is gonna be different. But yeah, there's no hard sell on Groot either. I think that's he's malleable. He can be whatever you need him to be. What is and he's the dendrophiliac's dream. And if you don't know what dendrophilia is, Google it. But yeah, what else we got in chat, Landon?
That is everything so far.
Cool. While we're waiting on other people to drop their number 5s, I will throw mine up. My number 5 comes from the world of Marvel Comics, and it is a character called the Maestro. Look at him in all of his zaddy glory. That is Hulk at the end of the world. He's the last Marvel superhero still in existence, and he has taken over everything. He's super smart. He's got all of Banner's brains, and he just does not give a shit anymore. And honestly, this might be a theme in my list, but I can fix him. Now, does he have a skullet? Yes, he has a skullet. Is that necessarily a bad thing? I don't think so. I think he's pulling it off. It might even lean into a little bit of a Hulk Hogan fantasy that I have that I didn't realize I had, that I've probably carried from childhood. Not current Hulk Hogan, of course. The 80s, whenever he was awesome. Not now, whenever he's, showing his geriatric breasts to everyone at the rallies. But yeah, in the 80s for sure. But yeah, the Maestro, ultimate daddy energy. And he seems like he'd be a mean one. Like he'd be really rough with you, but like probably in a good way. Maybe. Either way, we'll try it.
See, you were busy talking about the skullet. I was more so looking at those abs.
It's true. I mean, that dude's yoked. That dude is yoked. And you're looking at all of those like superhero helmets and like Mjolnir sitting there and like the Silver Surfer's board and everything. And you're thinking like, he's got to be a villain if he killed all of those heroes, right? No, he didn't kill any of those heroes. He collected all of that after the fact as a living memento or a living memoir of the heroes that represented the heroic age of the Marvel Universe. He's like, he's an old man collecting antiques. Like, it's so cute. Rick says Hulk Hogan is going to be in my hometown promoting his Real American Beer. I would go. I've been ever since I was little, like little, I've been a fan of Hulk Hogan. And then like in the WCW era when he was like the big heel and he was Hollywood Hogan and he was against Sting. Sting was my favorite wrestler at the time. So strongly opposed to him at that point, but like he's the like hero of my childhood for part of it, at least. I think like pre Ninja Turtles, Danny was very into Hulk Hogan as his hero. So that being said, have we gotten any more number 5s or a number 4 in the chat yet, guys? It is if you haven't put up your number 5, feel free to throw it up. If you have not or do not, and you do have a number 4, throw that in the chat as well, and we will move along. Rick says that Hulk Hogan is for sure his number 5. And I hope that while he's in your hometown, you get to live that fantasy out, Rick. I hope that works out in your favor. I'm excited for you.
And people, please do. It's a hear me out list. Explain yourselves a little if you want.
Yeah, feel free to put a little justification. And yes, I am looking for your number 4 hear me outs now in the chat. Told you this would be awkward, Landon, without you doing a list. You didn't listen to me.
I'm sorry.
But anyway, you got a number 4, throw it up there. I will. Yes, now, Christina, now is the time. After I list your number 5, or throw your number 4 up. After I list your number 4, throw your number 3 up. That's the way we normally do this, just to kill the awkward error space and all of the vamping that I have to do in the off chance that I'm sitting here waiting for your list to land.
Yeah, we do have a number 5 or number 4.
Oh, please give me that number 4.
Christina Oates. Number 4, I think, is the 1990s live action Raphael.
Ooh, that.
And their response to explanations is, nah, nope, no explaining.
Hold on. Do you think that you need to make an explanation for that choice to this guy? You don't. The attitudinous and wild 1990s Raphael, who set the standard for the bad boy Raphael, because pre 1990s movie version of Raphael, both in the comics and in the television series, was just a wise ass. He was not a dude with a bad attitude. And then actually, he's right here. Oh no. He was not a dude with a bad attitude. He was just a wise ass. You know, he was the smart ass of the group, but he was mostly funny. And then they did the live action movie and he had this like chip on his shoulder. And he went from being the wisecracking member of the Turtles to being like the badass member of the Turtles. And I got to say, I'm here for it. I loved it. And you'll see that he's carried that dynamic through every iteration of Raphael since.
Well, the thing about the Turtles is that they can all crack wise every once in a while.
Yes.
So having one character that's all their personality, it kind of got diluted with everyone else.
Yeah. So in the original theme song, Raphael is cool but rude, and his rudeness was in that he was the smartass of the group. And then whenever they translated that to live action, they were like, "Nah, he's this like hard edge Brooklyn like badass who, you know, out of everybody in the family, he doesn't talk about his feelings and he wants to fight. That's like his one thing." And it translated so well in the movies, especially the first one. And yeah, he's the bad boy of the group, and I get it, Christina. I get it. No, hear me out on that one.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got, Landon?
Deontay's number 4 is Firecracker. The Boys.
Oh, so this is tough. It's there was only about one worse option for the Boys, and it was Thunder. God, what was her name? Anyway, the Nazi one with the lightning powers. So she's the next worst option after Firecracker. But Firecracker, the literal Fox News anchor of superheroes, like the MAGA representative of superheroes, with the, judgment and overly Christian, like in your face values and the Stormfront. Thank you, Deontay. You know, she was awful, like really, really awful. So I would love to hear your justifications for that. And I am assuming they're all aesthetically based. But I will say, like, I do find it hilarious that this character who was just a shitheel in The Boys is played by an out lesbian woman who's, married and has some kids and got the chance to play this like MAGA idiot superhero for the series, and it couldn't have been better casting. So just based on that idea, I think she's cool. But other than that, that's a hard sell for me. Yeah, I'm not, I don't
Kind
know.
of like Taika Waititi playing Hitler.
Yeah, that's a yes, valid. That's a very good comparison, Landon. Did you just pull that out of your holster there? You just have that ready?
Oh, what, this microphone?
No, the Taika Waititi comparison.
Oh no, I was just listening and I'm like, oh yeah, Taika Waititi, Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, Jojo Rabbit's good too. If you haven't watched that, check it out. It's not as good as Penguin, but it's good. That is going to be my metric for good from now on, probably.
So, but you just said Penguin's the best thing ever. So
Right. Yes. Everything falls under that bar.
So everything's just a letdown from here on out.
Right. And that's just life. My number 4 comes from a movie from the 90s called, was it 90s? I think it was late 90s. From the late 90s called Species. And it is Eve, the alien. Look at her. H.R. Geiger does some of the craziest designs. And I don't know, man. There's something about Eve. And I get that, she was played by Natasha Henstridge and she's a classically attractive blonde woman, but something about that alien version of Eve, like, I can fix her, and she's so nice and so loving and so decent until she goes into heat, and then she becomes a crazy man-eating machine, and that kind of tracks for my interest in women. But I will say, like, she's just so cool looking, and something about those, like, what looks to be like carapace nipples. I kind of want to like flick them, just see what's going on there. And I think that's okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, as long as I have her permission, and she's not ripping my head off at the time, or she is. I mean, who doesn't have a praying mantis kink?
God, Danny, I have a character for you if that's the case. Again,
do we want to talk about it right now?
Sarah Kerrigan from StarCraft.
Okay. But anyway, that's my number 4. Landon, do we have number 3s in the chat?
We have a number 3 from Deontay.
Okay, hit me.
Deontay's number 3 is Dren Splice. Before the sex change, Adrian Brody took one for all of us.
I don't know this character.
I've seen Splice, but that was like many years ago, and I was only half paying attention, so I can't really help you.
Okay, I gotta look it up. Let me see how freaky this is, Deontay. All right. What was it? Dren from Splice?
Dren from Splice. Okay, I guess Christina Oates' number 3 is the Snow King.
The Snow King? What's that from?
I don't know. She just said, that's what I say about Snow King. I could fix him. And then said, that could be my 3rd. Lol.
Christina, I have to ask, do you mean Ice King from Adventure Time, or is Snow King from something else? Let's see. Dren from Splice. Oh my God. That is a cat person.
Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. Yes, the leader of the White Walkers, the what is his name? The
Night King.
The Night King. Yes, thank you, Christina. The Night King. And there was no explanation for this one?
No. She said earlier not doing explanation. So.
No explanation for that one. Yeah, I gotta wonder, what is it about a frozen zombie that has some magic abilities and hates living beings and warmth? Because I know you're not interested in being cold. What about him says, you know what? Next cuffing season. That's my choice. I don't know why I'm asking like we're gonna get a justification. You don't have to answer my questions. I'm not the FBI. What else we got, Landon?
That's everything in chat for number threes.
Okay. My number 3 comes from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and that is Dr. Elsa Schneider. Look at her. Now, is she a Nazi? Yeah. Should that disqualify her? Absolutely. Did she manage to shack up with not just Indiana Jones, but Indiana Jones's dad in under a year? That's what I'm saying. Like the stories she could tell. And that's not my only reason. I mean, B, look at her. And C, she's a doctor, for Christ's sake. I mean, retirement alone should be worthwhile. I mean, had she not died in the Knights Temple at the end of Last Crusade, her greed won out, and again, that's kind of my type. So that's I don't know. I'm seeing a pattern here. But anyway, I listen, guys. Is she good? No. Is she bad for me? Probably. Will she hurt me and possibly break my heart? Yeah, good chance. Will she try to rise the Third Reich back up? Yeah, probably. But that's a fight I'm willing to fight. It's all about the boundaries that you set in your relationships, and that's what keeps them alive. And so I think just as long as you vocalize those boundaries before you get into whatever you get into with her, I think it's possible to still have a healthy relationship. Maybe not a long-term relationship, because you should never stay with a Nazi. I should shut up. But anyway, that's my number. That's my number 3.
Hey, Deontay, that means Stormfront's on the table now.
Stormfront's not on the table. She was way worse. Elsa, I think, was, I want to think the best of people, and I feel like maybe she just needed some perspective. I feel like at the end of the movie, she was kind of questioning that whole Nazi thing. And, as long as she wasn't the one turning the showers on, I don't know. Anyway, what else do we have in chat, Landon?
Oh, God. Just Deontay laughing at that shit. Christina said that she's using her real name today, so pleading the fifth on explanations.
That's okay. That is totally fine. Totally fine. I know that the next time you'll have a super cool fake name made up for probably starting with an M for your appearance in the chat. Guys, throw your number 2s up so I can stop defending a terrible Nazi.
Throw up the number 2 so that we can
move
change
along
the topic.
Yeah, so we can move along. I promise nobody else's number 2 could be worse than my number 3 was.
I don't know. I'm still waiting for somebody to throw up "am" from "I have no mouth and I must scream."
Oh yeah. As long as nobody throws up the tire from what's the name of that movie? Rubber, yeah.
Okay. Space Boys, number 2. Archibald from VeggieTales.
Wait, which one's Archibald?
Tall asparagus man.
Okay, I did not watch VeggieTales because I didn't grow up in an overly religious household. Space Boy, please. If Landon can't explain it, please throw it in the chat.
Oh, I can explain it.
Okay, what's the justification for Archibald?
I said I could explain it, but I'm not about to out Space Boy like that. They've been good to me.
I thought the want when it comes to things vaguely asparagus shaped is girth over length. So I think it's weird that Archibald is a choice. Oh, he's British, he's tall, he's a dork. Oh, okay. And as we all know from exposure to the world, dork is a slang term for penis. So he's British, he's tall, and he's a penis. And I could see where that would be your interest, Space Boy. But like I said, it's I always thought it was girth over length on in that realm. Landon. You don't have to comment on that. That's okay. What else we got?
Deontay's number 2 is Leela from Futurama.
Again, no, I really, and I also sense a theme in Deontay's choices because that is also Peggy Segal, voices Leela in Futurama, and also she's she's just got one eye, and other than that, she has a banging body, and she knows karate. Like that's like 2 out of 3 of my favorite things.
I mean, who created Futurama and The Simpsons? Why am I blanking on it? Matt Groening.
Matt Groening.
Yes. Matt Groening did specifically talk about designing her to be hot in an interview. So,
I mean, this is also the man that designed Marge Simpson, so he knows what he's talking about.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I want to get all up in that blue hair. That's all I'm saying. Like, Marge isn't on my list, but I mean, when you're talking about mommy, it's Marge Simpson.
Marge Simpson.
I heard your phone go off, and I think you got a text related to this. Am I wrong?
I possibly did get a text related to this.
Is it something you're reading on air?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
We are keeping that in the text.
Okay, perfect. Let's see. Where are we at?
Christina Oates. Christina Oates, number 2 is anyone from X-Men 97, but please let it be Beast.
Okay, you're into furries. I get it. There's no judgment here. You like them furry. That's, I mean, and weirdly, Beast is gorilla-like, and I think that's the thing. That's the reason why he's called Beast. And I don't know why I'm saying it like I don't know, because I know almost everything about the X-Men. But weirdly, I think in this instance he's a bear. Am I unless I'm reading this wrong? For me at least.
That's it, bear. Also, he's also probably another gentle lover.
Dude, yeah. I mean, the Beast being huge and strong and crazy powerful and covered in dense blue fur. Also, probably when you guys are done and you've spit up your hairball, is gonna read you incredible poetry that he either wrote himself or is quoting from memory, because Hank McCoy, Mama McCoy's blue-eyed baby boy, is incredibly eloquent, and he's very well read.
Get you a blanket, some hot cocoa.
You don't need a blanket. He's gonna lay on you. It's like having a bearskin rug, but it's alive. And whenever it eats you, it's not, the eating that bears will do to you. What am I talking about?
I don't know anymore.
I don't either. I'm a little at a loss here. That is all of chat, I believe.
Yes.
All right. My number 2 comes from a Disney film called Fantasia, and that is Chernabog, the giant demon from Night on Bald Mountain. Look, hear me out, guys. I've been a goth since I was born. I have a love of dark things. My wardrobe is black until they come out with something darker. And Chernabog is like the ultimate bad boy. That dude opens up. First off, he's a fucking mountain. Like, I love mountains. So A, he's got me there. And B, he opens his giant black wings. Okay. Strike 2 on the Danny's gonna hook up with that person card. He's got giant black wings. Okay. And 3, he summons like super hot naked demon ladies to dance around him. So it's like, that's like a one-stop shop for an orgy. And it's like, he's so aloof. Like, I don't know, man. I just want him to think I'm cool, And for me personally, that's like, okay, Chernabog. Is he looking at me? He's looking at me, isn't he? Anyway, so for me, hear me out. I also feel like he's lonely, He's got all those other demons around him, but are they really like connecting with him, or are they just doing their demonic revelry and in their nude dances about his body and then going away for the night? Like, is anyone asking him at the end of the day, like, how you feeling, bud? Rest your head on my lap. Let's talk. How was your day? And I feel like he needs it, and I feel like he needs me. And so yeah, my number 2, Chernabog.
Chernabog just resting his giant head upon your lap.
I'm tall. Am I a mountain? No. I can fix him, Danny. Probably yes, Space Boy. Again, there's a theme. But we've got some more in chat. Deontay, this is weird for me. Would you be so kind as to read me everyone else's number 1? Landon, they're number 1s, please. And for all of you who just experienced that for the first time, you're welcome.
It's magical your first time.
Hear me out.
Deontay's number 1 is Jennifer Walters, but hulked out. I want to know if she can actually kill me or not.
Deontay, all of your hear me outs have just been fucking hot, dude. Like every one of them, I'm just like, thought about it. And the answer is yes. It's like you're in my brain. I could not agree more. Jennifer Walters, an 8-foot tall, perfectly crafted woman, like she's chiseled out of stone, like Wonder Woman, but bigger. There's so many great things about that. She can pick me up. She could hold me like a baby. She could break me in half and both ends would be smiling. Like, there's so much to love about Jennifer Walters. She's a lawyer. So you know that she can carry a conversation because those fuckers never shut up. Yeah, dude, absolutely. Deontay, you got any feelings on that?
You just called me Deontay, didn't you?
I did. My bad. I was reading Deontay's name and looking at you, and I said Deontay.
Yeah. No. Tall muscle woman? Yes. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Muscle mommies for days, for
Muscle
sure.
mommies for days.
Yeah, and green skin. That's so cool.
Green skin, any skin.
Yeah, I
No
feel
skin.
like I was Captain Kirk kind of at the same time. Like there's so many fantasies that play out when you're hooking up with She-Hulk. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
She's a Hulk. She's a superhero. She's incredibly tall, big, strong, muscle mommy, green skin.
Smart.
Put her in her silver bikini. Oh my god. Oh my god. Landon, what else we got in chat?
Space Boys number 1 is Lurch from the Addams Family, 1990. Tall, quiet, kind.
A man who really listens, you know? And I think that's what we're all looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Lurch. I don't know, man. I feel like he's wild in the bedroom. I feel like all that calm, stoic demeanor during the day. He takes that suit off at night. I'm thinking he probably has a very sturdy bed. That's all I'm saying. He probably has a very sturdy bed. That's a big dude. He's very reserved, and I think in the comfort of his own abode, with soundproof walls and a willing partner, I think he really lets it all hang out. And by letting it all hang out, I'm assuming that's a good 12 inches below his waist.
Again, I also believe a gentle lover.
Yeah, absolutely. He has to be. And Spaceboy, you're not wrong at all. Those are great. That's a great choice. And you know what? I read that. I'm reading that on your list. I'm reading that as your number 1 choice. And I'm looking at Landon and I'm thinking, yeah, this all makes sense. Every bit of it. Anyway, moving along. What else we got?
Christina Oates, number 1 is Garrus from Mass Effect. The best space boyfriend.
I don't know who that is.
Okay, so Garrus. He is an alien in Mass Effect. He is deadly, incredibly gifted combat.
Looking him up.
Really snarky, really charming. And he cannot flirt with humans to save his life in a way that is completely adorable. It is actually like fucking, yeah, date Garrus.
All right, so I'm seeing a robot eye. Or is that like a scouter?
It's a visor.
Okay, he's got like a scouter. All right, how tall is he?
Tall.
He's tall.
He's tall.
Those are some good bones. That's doesn't have lips. Doesn't have lips. How's that? I mean, I get it. He's kind of got a cat face. That's number 2 for you, Christina. Another animal-related human. Do you have a furry kink? That's my question. Don't answer. You don't have to. But also, I'm looking at him. He seems cool. He seems nice. He seems like he writes really, really nice letters from the battlefield. You know?
Garrus, fucking love him.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say yeah, that gets a pass. I'm gonna have to check him out. I'm sure there's some fanfic that'll explain everything to me.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That looks like that's everything we have in chat.
Yeah, that is everything in chat.
Now this one, it's not going to be divisive at all. I think it's going to be like a massive yes, but I have a whole thing behind it. So first off, my number 1 is Rogue from the X-Men. So for anyone curious to find this image, I searched Rogue X-Men ass. And this image came up. Now, that crazy badonkadonk is not the reason Rogue is my number 1. The reason Rogue is my number 1 is because she deserves someone willing to put on a full body condom to love her the way she deserves to be loved. I think it's preposterous that everyone she's in a relationship with is like, oh, I can't physically touch her. Like, is there a worse advertisement for men unwilling to cover themselves? I don't think so. And I'd do it for Rogue. I'd do it so that she could understand the kind of selfless love that another person could give you. And that's my reason. That's my whole reason. Like, latex is so well made and so thin today that you could definitely get some body dams and some gloves and go to town, really let her let some steam off. And she needs it.
Mm-hmm.
You're being kind of closed-lipped over there, Landon.
Oh, I was actually just thinking how it really reminds me of Finn and Flame Princess from Adventure Time.
Valid.
He had to cover up as well. Mostly she had to cover up, but it was they swapped occasionally, and it was just
It doesn't even have to be like marriage type stuff. Like we don't have to stay together forever. Christina says, yeah, she could just suck the life out of me. That's fine. Well, that's another way to handle it. That's for sure. But I'm just saying, like, we could have one really long, incredible night. We could have one really long, incredible night, me and Rogue. And I changed some things for her, and she just sets her standards higher. She just says, like, you want to spend time with me. She pulls out a latex suit and hands it to him. And then satisfies her own needs, for companionship while also not killing the person. It seems like an easy solution. I don't know why Marvel Comics has never addressed this, because instead it's just this whole will they, won't they love triangle that she keeps finding herself in with multiple people. And it just seems like the solution is just, I don't know. It's like you could Trojan horse it right into the story, and I think it would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, we have full body suits for that kind of stuff anyway.
Yeah, that's true. So Gambit needs a GIMP mask, or
you say that like he doesn't already have one.
He definitely has a GIMP mask. I actually believe, I don't know why I'm saying I don't know. I hate when I do that, Landon. I hate whenever I show that I am unsure about things, even though I am absolutely certain. In the Gambit Limited series that released in the 90s in Marvel Comics, he fights another member of the Thieves Guild who wears an entirely black latex bodysuit. So I know they A, exist, and B, he knows where to get them. Yeah. Okay. Well, that has been the hit list this week. Thank you guys for joining us. Next week's hit list, we will be talking about probably something a lot less thirsty, if I'm being honest. Let me find my, I make a list and then I just don't put it anywhere that's easy to find. That's on me. That is on me. Actually, it's right here. Okay. Next week, for the hit list, we are going to talk about our 5 favorite podcasts. So this can be any podcast. And yes, you can list Cutting Edge Hero, but you're already here. So you can list other ones. That's fine. I won't be upset. I will be upset. But anyway, so this has been the hit list. Next week, we are talking our 5 favorite podcasts. Welcome back. That is the show. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for your Hear Me Out list. That was great. Had a good time. Some of you guys are weirdos, and that's okay. You're in a safe space. Thank you so much. We could not do the show without you guys, and we appreciate you tuning in every single week. You guys are awesome. For those of you tuning in after the live has ended, if you're watching it post live, still feel free to put your Hear Me Out list in the chat, and we will address them there on social media for the millions of people who will see that to also see. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but anyway, put them in the chat. We'll still talk about them. That's really all I got this week. Layden, anything you want to say to the nice folks?
I don't really have much to say. Thank you all for tuning in. I swear I normally talk a little bit more than usual than this, but the brain fried, college ending soon, no thoughts, head empty, mouth mush. But thank you all for coming in, joining it with us, and talking in chat. It's always nice to have y'all.
Yes, always nice having each and every one of you. Deontay, thank you for stopping by. Christina, thank you for being here. I hope that you return. Everyone else that was in the chat and jumped in to watch the show, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you. And you know what? Catch you next time.
See y'all.